As always, stop the search. Call Mike Birch or visit MikeBirchFord.com.
You're listening to Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO FM in Jesup, 105.5 on your FM dial. Butch Hubbard here with you along with Bob Morgan. Friday morning, very first day of June. And a quick look at your weather forecast here. Today, mostly sunny. Mostly sunny today. High today of 92 degrees with a 30% chance of showers, 30% tonight. Tomorrow, 50% chance of showers. And here's our first heat index forecast so far for this summer. So high tomorrow of 92, heat index values as high as 100, which means it's going to be humid out there. And so it decreases to a 40% chance of showers tomorrow night, 40% on Sunday. Highs each day, 92 for today, 92 for tomorrow, and 94 for Sunday. The Altamaha River level's at 9.3 feet and on the rise. Currently here in southeast Georgia, we have 74 degrees. It is 8 o'clock, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. Big catfish tournament coming up this weekend here in Wayne County, put on by the Wayne County Board of Tourism and some other folks. We've got the folks in the know about it. Heather Altman is here this morning. Heather, move the mic over to you. Okay, move it a little closer to you there. There you go. So good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Got Mike Deal here this morning, city manager. And we got Mr. Lane over there. What's your official title now, Mike?
Interim Police Chief.
Interim Police Chief. Okay. Well, Bob, go ahead. Heather, you start with it.
Let me start.
Okay, let me start.
I just want to say it's my pleasure to sit here beside my good friend Bob Morgan and the problems he's had in the last few months and the way he's looking now, looking like he just looked like the Wayne County Yellow Jackets just won a state title or something.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Yeah.
Bobby, you had more people praying for you than voted in the last election.
You're right. You're right, Mike Deal. You're absolutely right.
That's good stuff. And, I'm happy to call you a friend. It's great to see you doing good.
We appreciate the comments. Okay, y'all go ahead and let's talk about the fishing tournament. Yeah, Bob doing good. Lots of prayers. A lot of folks calling. Everywhere I go, people want to know how he's doing. You know, he had to go down a few days ago, last week, I believe, and have the staples taken out of his stomach. Told him he'd go right there in front of Leanne. We got a staple remover up there, but yeah, he figured he had to go see the doc, so.
There's staples out. I said, no, the surgeon said he needs staples.
All right, Heather, big catfish tournament coming up starting tomorrow here in Wayne County on the Altamaha River. Tell us all about the latest details.
We're excited to say we're fishing. We're fishing this tournament this weekend. We've got the turnout, of course, is always, slow due to a few procrastinators, and people just are really concerned about the river level right now because we do have a very high river. But other than that, we're fishing. Right now we're at, I think it was 28 boats as of yesterday. Online shuts down tonight at midnight. So there's still time to register. It's not too late. We've got a few things that we're going to talk about today that are backup plans and suggestions that we make to our fishermen. But registration is still open. We'll register all day today at the office, and we'll register Saturday morning up to tournament time. And I hate to say that we'll turn anybody down. If you work at the mill or you're working and you can't get here till after tournament starts and you still want to fish, we'll still take you. So if you're planning on fishing or considering fishing, come on and let's fish.
Sounds good.
You fished your whole life, so I'm just curious. Like I said, Johnson, I told you we don't know anything about. Does the river level make that? What does the high river level do for fishermen?
Yeah, it's no big problem, Bob. Everybody's fishing the same river.
That's right.
And really and truly, you might not catch quite as many, but you stand a chance. And there's some big blues down there that will bite on this stage of the river. The only thing you got to keep in mind, this stage of the river, you got to let out a little bit more line.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Got to front grass for the obvious.
Yeah, everybody's fishing on the same river, and there's fish to be caught. There's actually some of my buddies and I went down to fish a little bit ago, and we caught some nice bluefish. I'm not a real big flathead fisherman. I don't want to sit there all night long waiting on one or two bites, but there's some fish to be caught in that river, and you can catch them on a high river. I had one or two calls, or I had one call, actually, that was excited at the river, and he's a good fisherman, probably the best in the county, and he was excited the river was high. So he said, this will give me a chance. I know where to go on this stage of the river. So you find you some places that might be out in the woods a little bit, but you catch some fish. We'll catch some fish. Might not be as many as we usually catch, but we'll catch fish.
Well, I was mentioned just on Butch and Bob Show, the weigh-ins of these, and like the catfish tournament, the hog jam, people love coming to watch the weigh-ins, and the weigh-in's going to be Sunday at 2. Is that correct?
That's correct. Now it'll start, and especially with the high river, and if it is slow during the daytime on the high river, they'll start coming in early if they're not getting any bites. And the bite might come at night. It might not come at night. You can talk to those people fishing. When did you catch your fish? I caught my fish right after I put in on the first day before dark, and then you talk to another night and get a bite till midnight. And it's just kind of where you're fishing, what hole, what drop. So it'll be good.
Heather, is still time to sign up? What are the rules? How many fishermen on a team? Is there a number of people that can be on the? I see where it says all team members have to fish from the same boat. Tell us some of the rules that people need to know about.
That is correct. Basically, it's 2 fishermen per boat, but with the river level as high as it is right now, some of them are excited because they can take their pontoon boats, and some of them's got 3 to 5 on their boat. Basically, it's based on what your boat capacity will hold, but to register, you have to have pay the $200 boat registration fee. As far as the rules, besides the weigh-in, the rules are listed. We have a slew of rules, and we expect for everybody to abide by those. And one is just to make sure you have a Georgia State valid hunting and fishing license before you fish. We don't want somebody to come in and their license be expired, and then we forfeit that $7,500 because you didn't pay that little fishing fee. A question that I've been asked a lot this year, matter of fact, I think your assistant out here was one of them that called, because I've had 3 calls since then, but was concerned about, could they place fishing poles on a tree in a pole holder? That is no. That is considered bush hooking in our book. So basically 3 poles per fisherman, and they have to be held by you. The fish has to be landed and caught by you. You can have help as far as your partner using a dip net to help you get in the boat, but you do have to land and reel that fish yourself, and for it to be considered your fish.
Yeah, that's real fishing.
And what's the deadline to sign up? How long do they have to sign up?
Well, like Heather said earlier, we'll take registration all the way up till tournament time.
This is Assistant Chief Lane. People can't they hear these voices and they don't know who's on the air. So, okay, go ahead.
And like she said, if somebody don't get off work till 1 o'clock at Randy or whatever, and they want to come, because we are giving a polygraph. So that's what people need to understand. Just because we take registration up late, they're not going to be able to go out there and catch fish and then say, well, I got a big one, now let me go enter the tournament.
Right.
Because we do give that polygraph.
We've never known fishermen to tell tall tales, have we?
Not many.
Yeah.
But
they'll try every trick in the book. I promise you. It is comical. They'll try, and then they come up and ask a question after the tournament. Well, this is what I did. What I gotten called about.
I think our biggest
confession's good for the soul, huh, Mike?
I think our biggest calls over the past week has been about the tournament and the weather. And Heather and them texted me earlier this week. People want to know what we're going to do if it's raining. I said, we're fishing. It may affect the way they fish, but it's not going to affect the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I fished it before I became the chairman of the tourism board. I used to fish it every year, and I fished in some monsoons during the night out there. So we're having the tournament. We do want to point out that we are guaranteeing, we got our famous disclaimer on our ad that payout is based on the number of entries, but we do guarantee that first place prize of $7,500. If we don't even have enough entries to take in the $7,500, we're still going to pay that and just take a loss.
Man, that's something. $7,500, and what do they have to do to win that?
It'll be the combined weight of your heaviest 5 fish, and only 1 can be dead. The other 4 have to be alive. And especially with those blues, the flatheads, they're pretty easy to keep alive, but those blues can be a challenge sometimes to keep them alive all night. So we get more and more where people have to bring them in during the night, and we will, if I'm correct, we will have somebody out there all night long. I think Miss Royal and Mr. John are taking their camper out there, and they'll be staying out at the fairgrounds all night long, so somebody needs to bring in a fish during the middle of the night to weigh in.
Is that fair? Is that campground still open out there at the fairgrounds? It is still open. Okay. I know they had talked about closing it up at one time, so I didn't know if it was still open or not. Are they going to close it up, Mike? Have you heard?
No, there might be some changes? With the river project, but I don't think, and it might be moved. We don't know yet.
Don't know yet. It's according to all that works, guys.
According to what the best case scenario we can work out to work in with that project.
All right, we got folks in this morning here on WIFO 105.5 Big Dog Country from the Wayne County Board of Tourism, talking about the big catfish tournament coming up starting tomorrow on the Ottawa River. Someone will win $7,500, right?
That's correct.
Do they have to have 5 fish? I mean,
we could do this way. If they've got 2 fish that weigh more than somebody's 5, it's by head that way. Huh? Up to 5 fish.
Okay.
Also want to point out some of the other prizes that, based on the number of inches, we have the $1,000 big fish pot. That's where the fishermen, as they come in and register, they can pay $10 to get into the big fish pot. And whoever catches the biggest fish during the whole tournament wins that.
They win the whole pot?
They win the $1,000, the biggest fish.
Right.
We also pay out $250 to the biggest fish caught by a female. We pay out $100 to the biggest non-species catfish. We pay out $150, I think it is, to the biggest catfish caught by a kid.
And what is that, 12 and under or something? Or
16 and under.
16 and under.
Under 16.
Under 16.
Under
16. 15 and under, okay. All right, so lots of money is going to be handed out Sunday, right?
Yes.
What time?
The tournament officially starts Saturday at 12. Saturday at 12 noon, and we have to be weighed in by 2 o'clock on Sunday. We'll have our flag guy out there at 2 o'clock locking that gate. They're standing behind the last vehicle that's in line at 2 o'clock for weigh-in. So just as Mike says, it's hard to determine exactly what time. We'll be finalizing weigh-in by 2. So, if you get out of church and you want to come out and it's not raining and it's pretty, come on out and see these fish and see these guys weigh in, because we hope to have a lot to show off. I'm getting calls, everybody's like, oh, we're not going to have them flatheads. Them blues are going it this year. The blues are going in. So it's going to be interesting to see what really does win it, and we're excited about that. But I want to talk a little bit about the safety of the river, with the river being as high as it is.
Let's say the safety, but let me do the text. Remember, folks, you can always text in questions or comments during the show at 912-427-3711. 912-427-3711. Text them in. We can't answer the phone. We're live on the air. Somebody says, hey, if there's any fish left over, he'd like to have them. It's Dave. I don't want to say his last name, but it's David. He's a regular listener of ours, and he's a good
and that's
guy.
Fine. We normally have we have a holding tank that we keep the fish alive in and try to keep them alive in. And if the fishermen, most of them, we do not let them take them back unless we mark them. And that's basically clipping a fin or something off of them so that we know that fish has already been weighed in. But there's a lot of them that don't want them, and if there is some left over, they're more than welcome to take them.
Just going out there.
There's always a few that will, once they bring them in, once we get them weighed in, they won't make it, they'll die. So we always give a few fish away.
Okay.
That's according to how many we have. We try to put some back, too. We've changed our strategy. We initially started fishing to get rid of some of the flatheads. They're down a little bit now, and the people are wanting some back.
Now, how do you know they're down? How do you know the flathead's down?
Well, according to what we catch during the time.
Okay.
And also DNR surveys them all the time. They know, they do creel limits at the dock and see how many people caught what. And they pretty much know. They're smarter than people figure.
And those are the comments of our city manager, not necessarily the opinions of Jesup Broadcasting.
Or the city of Jesup.
Or the city of Jesup. Those are strictly Mike's. All right, safety on the river there, Heather.
Yes, the river is really, really high. We encourage everyone to be very, very safe during this time in the tournament. It's always something that's everybody always worries about, is traveling on a high river.
Well, why high is less safe than, let's say, a low river where you might run into stuff?
Because when it's high, there's more to be floating in the river. A tree may bust loose that's been laying on the bottom of the riverbank for a long time and be floating, and as you're traveling at night with your spotlight, sometimes it's hard to see something and if your motor hits it, it could possibly flip your boat. So there's more moving on a high river than it is on a low river. A low river, you have to be careful because of stuff sticking up out the water.
Right.
High river, basically everything's running with the river. So, we encourage our fishermen, if you're fishing up in, say, at the Wayne County and Glenn County line, and you catch a big fish and you want to get it to weigh in throughout the night, have a buddy lined up or a family member lined up. They'll be able to meet you at that landing and personally drive that fish over. That way you don't have to run the river, from one landing to another landing to get it. So we're encouraging that with a lot of people. I have gotten calls about that. Is it okay if I have a runner? Yes, we encourage you to have a runner. We'd rather you be close to your hole and close to where you're fishing instead of running the river at night.
Is the flow of the river a lot faster when it's high like this?
Very much.
Because it's always fast anyway, especially when it's high like this, right?
That's correct.
Okay, that's another safety area.
So we do encourage that, and if you guys have any questions or concerns and need to talk to somebody, my phone's available at all times. Someone's at the office. You can reach me at 912-256-2512 or at the office.
Okay. They're all been here.
Yes.
The chief head honcho down there at the tourism board. And she's the paid help.
Yes. And at the office at 427-3233.
427-3233. Wayne County Board of Tourism.
And then everything's online at Wayne County Tourism. WayneTourism.com.
WayneTourism.com.
That's correct. So, give us a ring if you have any questions or concerns. We'll be on site Saturday morning, ready to roll at 7 o'clock for registration. And the office is open till 5 today, also for registration.
Now, the tournament doesn't begin to actually high noon tomorrow, Mike, is that right? That's right. Okay. So if you've got somebody who registers, let's say at 7 o'clock, and they put their boat in 8, but they cannot catch any of those fish that will be entered for weigh-in until after 12 o'clock, right?
That's right.
And that'll probably be one of the questions asked on the polygraph test if they're one of the winners.
They can start early and catch bait. And the bait out of that river, the brim or whatever, is good bait to use, and they can start early and catch bait, but they can't start their fishing. They can't drop a catfish line in the water until 12.
All right. And remember, it's real fishing with your rod and reel, no bush hooks or poles sticking up out of the trees, that kind of stuff. It's got to be real fishing.
Holders in a boat, that's it.
What we recommend everybody on this time, you can't start fishing to 12. Everybody has a cell phone now. If you'll go off the time, that's satellite time, you'll be safe.
Okay.
Don't set your watch 20 minutes fast and try to fish off your watch. Go by your cell phone.
Yeah, I'm guessing a person could actually honestly pass that test. My watch said it was passed well. Now, how far up and down the river have y'all found any experiences that people fish in this tournament?
All the way up to the confluence. That's where the two rivers meet together, and that's where
you're near Lumber City.
Lumber City. Is it Lumber City?
Toombs County.
Oh, Toombs County.
Ogie, and all meets the Omaha River.
Okay, up to Toombs County.
Hazlehurst is a good place. A lot of them like to fish out there by Plant Hatch out that way, and then all the way down to the coast. I mean,
is it true that the fish?
Some of our winners, Mr. Danny Emmons.
Is it true that the fish glow right below the
No. You hear so many stories. I mean, it's just,
2 or 3 eyes behind.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'll fish the whole length of the river. We have fishermen fishing
from all the way there, all the way down to the coast.
That's correct.
Wow, that's a long area to have to fish.
So they can, like I said, they do not have to put in with us. They register with us. We assign them a flag number. We got them from Macon, Atlanta, Florida coming in, and, they've come in, they've called, we've mailed out river maps, so they'll know where all the public landings are along the river. They know, to let them know that they do not have to launch at our station. They do not have to launch at our station, and we don't even have to see them. They register, we mail them a flag and a river map, tell them good luck, and do not start fishing to 12 noon on Saturday.
Have you found that, that's a long stretch of Omaha River there. Have you found that the fish caught are pretty much even all the length of the river? Or is there certain areas that are hotter than others? Or
No, you have your Georgia State record flathead catfish that was caught here in Wayne County, up in the upper part of the county near Upper County Landing. You've got Danny Emmons, which is a tournament winner, that's landed him a few wins down fishing down by the coast, where the river Omaha meets the coast in Glenn County.
About 2 years ago, there was a 102-pounder caught on a bush hook down near the coast,
Wow.
Everett City area.
Everett
So
City.
And then you've got the Fosky father and son team. That's one up at near the Plant Hatch area.
So it's all
I mean,
over.
so it's all over. You know, our winners come from that we've had in the past from all over different parts of the river.
Do you
So
find that from the rivers high like this, that the people still fish along the banks, or they try to go up in coves?
Deep holes mainly.
Deep holes?
Yeah, they're fishing.
Okay.
looking for holes.
With their
radar ear.
the radar, yeah. The fish finder, depth finder things.
one last thing we want to do is mention our sponsors. We have a yearly corporate sponsor that is a sponsor of all our events, and that's Comores. And then for this tournament, we have WTOC, who is a big sponsor
Way to go.
for this event. And we've got Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Rainier Advanced Materials, Interstate Credit Union, Sheriff John Carter, Wayne Memorial Hospital, City of Scriven, City of Odom, and City of Jesup.
Okay.
I'd like to thank all our sponsors.
That Comores is the mining company for the folks that don't know. The company that's going to come in and do the
The ones
mining.
who purchased it from DuPont, right?
Right.
Comores. Okay. All right. Have they started any work yet?
They're gearing up to.
Okay.
Yeah. It
Okay.
won't be long.
All right.
Hey, guys, why don't we?
I was just saying, can we talk a little bit about our upcoming events too? Is that what you're going to tag on?
We've
Why
got,
don't we,
we've got 10 more
first
minutes,
off-
so talk away.
Why don't we offer Bob and Jonathan a free entry into the... Yeah, we'll get them a boat.
Bob to ride a
You talking about some
pontoon boat.
fussing and fighting and all that kind of stuff because they don't, either one of them fish, they don't like the water, so.
I know. I've told Bob many times, let me just put you on a boat and take you down the river.
Yeah. I'd love to go up down the river on a pontoon boat. Yeah.
We can't even get him to do that. He said, that's all right, I'll stay on the bank and you just send me the news
Oh,
and be there to
pontoon
record it when it
boats.
comes out.
They're great. They're
But
great.
they are, and especially if you can get
A little closer
on
to it,
one
yeah.
of these river tours, boats that we do for the 8th grade school system, and take them out and teach them the history of the Omaha and the history of Doctortown and its trestle and all. It's a very pleasant trip. It's
We
very
have pretty
interesting.
much an 8th grade.
Trip, Bob. We do some tours with some great history. If we run out of something we really know about, we make some stuff up.
Yeah. I like that. You know, we have basically an 8th grade mentality around here, so if our brains are aching, they go to.
Well, they also the teachers get taught the Wayne County history.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
the river tour and then goes down and do downtown historical tours of downtown, and so it's an interest in the cemetery, the history of the cemetery, and what's all in
Yeah, a
the
lot of
Jesup
folks don't-
Cemetery. There's a lot to be known around here,
There's
and I
a lot
always
on that
tell the
river
minds of
historical
Wayne
lot.
County we need to record them. Especially Janet, tell her all the time we need to record her, because when she's gone, I don't know if there's anybody else to know that what she knows. She knows about the history.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of history on that river.
that's correct.
From the Native Americans to when the settlers came in. There's so much on there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and plug while we're here that, our next event, we've got 2 major events coming up that will be, time this is over, we will
Who's
start
we?
rolling. The Board of Tourism.
Wayne County Board of Tourism.
excuse me.
People tune in.
And,
the Board of Tourism. This is Heather Allman.
Will be our Day for Wayne, which is held the first Thursday in November, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that is the 4th this year. If you might, can check that for me.
Okay.
And then following that will be our Big Buck Contest. This is something that last year was our first year, and it'll be November 2nd.
Third. That's 3 figures at it.
The first what?
Thursday. It'll be the first. Okay, I got 3 fingers, then I got 2 fingers, now I'm getting 1 finger. So it's going to be the first. We're going to do that November 1st, and then the following weekend, which will be that Saturday night, the 3rd, will be the Big Buck Contest. And so we had a lot of participation last
You
year.
got both of them at the same time.
Yes, back to back. Can you imagine?
No.
And that will be the banquet
That
night.
was the banquet for the Big Buck
And
Contest.
the Big Buck Contest will
Which that
run,
usually begins on the first day of hunting season, right? In October, right?
and it will run the whole week of opening week, and then we'll have scorers all throughout the county that will score these bucks from anywhere in Wayne County or any counties that touch Wayne County,
Okay.
surrounding counties.
Right. Adjacent.
So, we had some last year. It was kind of funny. The gentleman that won the Alma contest, and he walked away with $10,000. $10,000 on that one. Was it
$5,000.
He called and he says, "Hey, these guys are telling me I need to get in y'all's Big Buck Contest." And I was like, "Well, you kind of needed to register before opening day." And he was like, "Huh?" I was like, "You needed to register before open day." I said, "You can't, it'd be in the middle of the the day, you can't. He was like, man, I just won this one, and I could have said, yep, you could have doubled that pot. So, just let people know, we're excited about it this year. I think the word is out. Everybody is signing out. Elma has a great big opening day tournament, and we're not trying to take anything from them. We're just saying, hey, you can register in that one, and you can register in ours. Right. Because a lot of people do not get that opportunity to hunt opening day. Myself, I do hunt opening day, but I hunt opening day with my children. So if they see something, they're going to get the ones to do it. Not throughout the week, everybody gets an opportunity to hunt. So we're encouraging everybody to be looking for that information. That's going to be the Wayne County Big Buck Contest, November 1st.
And Chief Lane, the thing with our Big Buck Contest, like she said, we're not trying to take away from the one Alma has, but you can join both, and ours runs a full week. If you join the one in Alma or some of these other surrounding tournaments, you've got one, some of them's an opening day tournament, some of them's opening weekend tournament, so you only got 1 or 2 days. So ours, you've got 7 days. You've got that full week that gives you an opportunity to kill that big buck you've been scouting out. So by joining ours, it gives you a better opportunity to kill him during the tournament.
And that's always the opening week, you said, of
opening week of firearm season.
Firearm for deer. And you got the day for Wayne. No fishing tournament anymore in August, right?
Nothing in August. That was what we wanted to call our good old boy tournament, our local boys tournament, and it just would never... everybody says it's too hot, and it used to be a great tournament with great participation, but last year I think we ended up with 9 boats the week of the tournament. It wasn't that many.
It wasn't that many, yeah.
And so it's not you can't go and put on a tournament with just that small amount of participation.
So all the focus now on the catfish tournament.
Yes, well, there's some things I've been thinking about and working on that I hope to present to the board in June that we might possibly do. I've been talking to another board member.
Yes. Mike, that's scary. That's scary. That's scary, Chief Lane. Now, we are on video up here.
Yes. There's plenty of time of the year to do it, but, I'll go ahead and they probably know we all the time talking about fishing. But a bass tournament, I hit 2 bass tournaments this past about 2 weeks ago and one in April that was held at J.C. Linden. I was kind of really surprised at what the participation was.
And what did you put on that bass tournament?
Basically, it's trails, and that's what they told me. It's a trail group. They fish different parts of the river, different counties, different Lindens, and things like that. And they had a really good participation, and I've seen some beautiful bass.
So all these bass come out of the Altamaha?
They did.
Okay.
They did.
So bass fishing out of Altamaha.
Right.
In local ponds
just,
or lakes.
No local ponds. It was just a thing. And so, it's something that we had, I've seen a lot of them from Appleton County, a lot of them from, there were some from Black Shear and different places that I spoke with, but the turnout was pretty big. And,
That's my favorite fish to catch is bass.
It's my son's too. My son and my nephew loves. They've picked it up on their off season. But, that was something we added to the Grand Slam is a bass category, and I only had like 2 fishermen fish it.
Right.
But it being a catfish tournament, a pan tournament, and a bass tournament, that's a lot to put together. So I'm looking at possibly Will Murphy. It's one of my board members. He's a big bass fisherman, and he travels. And so after I went to these 2 tournaments, I sat down with him last week, and I said, what do you think about it? He said, August is too hot. You can't do it. It's too late in the year to do it. So he started throwing out some times of the year that he thought it might be good.
Spring would be good for bass.
Yes, that's what he was saying. So, there's so much to be caught in that river and so much to do with it. It's one of our number 1 tourism attractions for Wayne County, and, Tourism Board always takes advantage of that, and a lot of our events and things are promoted around that, and it's been very successful for the board. And if there's something we can do to bring more people and put more people on that river, we will. It's just nice to ride through town and see so many people pulling a boat. It gets you excited.
Yeah.
When you're
and we
my
have
kind of
outfitters
business.
here in Wayne County. In case you don't have all the gear, you can rent it from the outfitters here in Wayne County.
Mike, I've heard that new Georgia Power guy's a really good bass fisherman.
Yeah, if you have a bass tournament, he's liable to win it. He's probably one of the best bass fishermen I've probably ever seen.
And you got to be talking about Mr. Allen, right?
Are y'all talking?
Has he got some stories to tell? I've heard Mr. Volsky.
Yeah.
But so that's something that we have in the works possibly for spring. And then, of course, like we said, our Day for Wayne is coming up. That's a huge Wayne County showcase event where we bring everybody in to showcase what we have here in Wayne County and to thank them for the things that has been done throughout the year for us. And so we'll be going wide open, 2 events back to back, which is nice to, after we get through the tournament, that's going to be our main focus is Big Buck and Day for Wayne. So be looking for letters from us and sponsorship letters and meeting notifications because we're fixing to get on this wide open after this catfish tournament.
Okay. All right. Catfish tournament still can register. Go by the Wayne County Board of Tourism, the old train depot on Broad Street in downtown Jesup. Give them a call once again, Heather, that number, if they want to ask questions.
912-256-2512, 912-427-3233, or if you just want a copy of the rules and regulations and a registration form, and that way you can go ahead and get it printed out and just drop it off to us Saturday morning or this afternoon, and that's going to be www.waynetourism.com. And we're hoping to see everybody on the river, a good, safe tournament, and somebody's going to walk away with $7,500.
Well, I was just looking at this. The Day for Wayne is on that Thursday, the 1st of November, where Election Day is not until the 6th, so we might get some of these state candidates in here. Yeah.
That's what we like.
Bob was mentioning that Jack Kemp seems to come in each year.
He does.
Is that right,
Brian Kemp.
Brian, I said the wrong name. Yeah, Brian Kemp.
Right.
I make mistakes sometimes, Bob.
He
So
does.
you
He
and everybody
enjoys
else.
it. He enjoys it. He's been a couple of years. He's always been one to him. If for some reason he can't come, he always sends 3 or 4 there to represent him. But
okay.
he's always tried his best to make it, and has made it a couple of times. So I'm very excited about it.
All right. And so, catfish tournament this weekend. If you if you're not participating but would like to see the fish and the weigh-in and all that kind of good stuff, then they need to be out there about 2 o'clock on Sunday at JC
Well, 2
Landing.
o'clock is going to be when we closed up the landing. So, I mean, I would say between noon and 2.
Noon
yes.
and 2. So get out there
That
around
way you can
noon.
see some come in.
Right after church, head on out there, and watch the weigh-in and all that kind of good stuff and see who leaves with that $7,500 check.
And where is Jonathan so we can get him to do that voodoo stuff to hold off the rain until after weigh-in? We do have a backup plan. If it does rain, we will run the tournament weigh-in through the fair building, straight through, so we'll be inside, and they just pull their boat and trailer through and out with the other end. But we would like to be outside and not cooped up in there with all them fish and things. So I asked Jonathan to do his voodoo to keep the rain away.
Just leave that brown bag of bills in the back door. He can help you out.
Leave what now?
He always jokes. He said, when I talk about him getting good weather, he says, if you'll leave that brown bag with the bills in the bag, I can help you out. So,
he can be bought. All right, Mike Gill, Mike Lang, Heather Altman here talking about, from the Wayne County Board of Tourism, talking about the catfish tournament coming up here in Wayne County. Fishing begins at high noon tomorrow. And once again, can people register out there tomorrow at the fairgrounds?
They can. We'll be there in the morning around 7 o'clock and be there throughout the day and the night. There will be somebody there to weigh in all night long. And then if you get off late Saturday afternoon after 2 o'clock after tournament started, come on and see us. We'll be there.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, y'all.
Thank you for having us,
Good luck
guys.
with the tournament this weekend. Hopefully everything is going to be safe. All right, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. World-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, and by Jesup Premium